mean, what that guy does, the spin is active, he steps to the side and then steps back. And he just kind of laid in there, ate some shots and let him hit him. He was moving his head and playing with him. And then the minute he said, I'm done, he's done. It's unbelievable. Nobody does that. Nobody in the sport is able to do that. You know, and that's why sometimes when I get these guys that start saying, I don't know, Anderson Silva might not be the #1 contest. Are you out of your fucking mind? Nobody can do what this guy can do. He's the greatest of all time. And I think he's the greatest in any combat sport. You don't see anybody. I mean, even I'm a huge Tyson fan. And in Tyson's heyday, you know, Tyson was executing people and wondering how long it was going to be until he knocked somebody out. He had this power and this intensity and this meanness that people were afraid of. Anderson Silva just does amazing things that nobody else can do.
Can you take that as reluctance to fight John Jones? I mean, do you think he's just like negotiating with
you? He's playing games with me. That's what he's doing. I know how he works and I know how he thinks. And he always has this thing of being humble, where it's not like I'm going to say, yeah, I'll fight John Jones and I'll beat him. He never does that, you know? He never does that. But I know how he is, and he wants to show everybody by the time he leaves who the man is. So I think the way to do that is right now, if you look at number 1, 2, and 3 on my list, the way that I look at it, he's number 1, GSP's number 2, Bones is number 3. And people will argue the 2 and 3 slot. George St. Pierre's been around for a long time. He's fought everybody. You know, John Jones' run has been a year and a half.
But if GSP, obviously we know he's got a real fight ahead in November. I mean, let's go give him. But if he wins, you start working towards making that fight right away between GSP and
I don't know. We'll see. We got to see how this whole thing plays out. Again, this is all just talk. It's all just talk right now. We got to see how everything plays out. Timing has a lot to do with it. You know, I don't know. We'll see. You know, I do got to sit down with these guys and start talking. Figure it out.
Dana, are you reluctant?
Will we have to go on a 8-fight win streak? Because I don't know. We'll see. You know, the hard part about like a guy like Mitch is something very good at the watch or something. He was very one-sided. You know what I mean? The best thing that can happen to him is Carl's confidence. You know what I mean? It's just he's in a tough spot. Mitch is a good fighter, man. You know, like I said, everybody bitches about him. Laying on people, this is mixed martial arts. You got to make it so he doesn't do that to you. And for 2 rounds, Eric Silva gets it. You know, Eric Silva gassed out. It's a big fight in his home country. He gassed out. I'm sure he's sitting there right now beating himself up mentally, and he will over the next several months until he fights again. We're going to see what Eric Silva's made of. He's either going to, this is going to be his GSP Matt Hughes fight, or this could mess him up for a long time.
You ever get with American coaches or American fighters, or this season or next?
Would you ask me? American coaches?
Yeah,
no, it's what I proposed tonight in the meeting. Yeah, but the thing is, they say it's tough to have a guy who speaks English on a whole television show here in the biggest network in the country. You know, you'd have to subtitle the whole thing, or you saw what they did with me here, right? They dubbed me, you know. So it was bad. Dubbing is never good.
Dana, would you mind commenting a little bit about the Strikeforce card being canceled? Guys like Daniel Cormier and Luke Rocco being in limbo as of right now. Would you mind commenting a little bit about that?
Sure. I don't run that company. Call the guy who does. I got a lot to say about it.
But you had, asked Frank Mir to go over there. How do you feel for him and for the guys that were offering themselves to go up and fight Daniel Cormier?
I'm not talking about it.
Okay.
I start talking about this, things will be real bad.
How about we change the subject? We'll talk a little bit about Chris Weidman and the limbo state of the
85-pound division right now. Yeah. That's not really in a limbo state. I mean, the title fight just happened. You know, there's probably going to have to be a couple of guys that are going to have to fight each other right now. And we'll figure it out. Like I said, this George St. Pierre fight isn't a done deal. It's not like you guys are right now George St. Pierre is going to happen. Who knows what's going to happen? Anderson might fight and defend the 85-pound title before he meets GSP. Who knows? Anything can happen.
Dana, do you have any idea why the GSP fight is so important to them?
I think the John Jones one is too. Yeah, I think that he'd love to knock off the 2 pound best fighters in the world. You know what I mean? Those are the 2 guys that everybody talks about, one above him and one below him. It's just, the guys broke every record in UFC history. He's going to lay down a foundation that nobody will ever be able to break. I mean, for a guy to come in and break the records that this guy's setting, what record was just broken recently where it was like that? It was football in America. You know, it was, what's his name the other night? Breeze. Yeah, Breeze goes in and breaks his record. He's been around for 50 years. Like 48 touchdowns in 48 consecutive games with just 3 years of playing football, not being injured, sick, or hurt. You know, these are the kind of... Anderson Silva's laying down records that won't be broken for 50 years. And I think that he's at this point in his life right now where that's what he's looking at, you know?
Where would you rank Damian Maia in the welterweight division?
Damian Maia looked unbelievable tonight. I thought he was in big trouble tonight. Story's got heavy hands. He's a good wrestler. He's hard to take down. And Damian Maia dominated him and made it look easy. He looked good. So he said he had a really great cut, felt strong, and felt better than he's ever felt. So good for him, man.
One more about Anderson. He's approaching superstar status here in Brazil. He's everywhere, sponsored by Nike, on the TV regularly. He's kind of in that transitional phase at the tail end of his professional career as an athlete as well. What do you think is in the future for somebody like Anderson, you know?
If he really thinks he has 5 years left, he's not at the tail end of his career. I mean, 5 years is a very long time. 3 fights a year for 5 years? Like I said, if he continues to go on, it's like one of the media guys asked him here tonight, you know, when do you walk away? And let me tell you what you don't do. You don't walk away after a performance like tonight. He's older than Stephen Bonner. It's amazing. That's what everybody has to put into context, too. The guy's 37 years old going on 38. You know, I'm a little bit older than him. I'm in my early 40s. I can barely get on a fucking treadmill, okay? This guy's doing this shit, stepping out of the way, spinning back kicks. Are you shitting me? You know, 37 is when a guy is done. It's over. He's toast. It's, you know, especially in the fight business. Anderson's a guy who hasn't partied. He's a guy who's taking care of himself, hasn't abused his body, and is just a freak of nature when it comes to fighting. He's the greatest ever.
You seem like
this guy. You know, people are this and that about him, and everybody's always hemming and hawing. I'm telling you right now, watch every fight that he has, enjoy every moment that he's here, because when he's gone, you're going to fucking regret it. You're going to wish you watched more. It's like Jordan. I think about when Jordan played basketball, and even the games that didn't mean a lot, he still did a lot of great shit. It's just, Anderson Silva is the guy you want to watch when he's fighting, because you're going to see some shit you've never seen before in your life.
Dana, could you give us your thoughts about the Jake Shields suspension? The news broke that he has been suspended for 6 months. What are your thoughts about that?
I think it sucks. Hey, you guys get suspended.
Can you tell us what the test was for?
Huh?
Can you tell us what he tested positive for?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know. Dude, I've been traveling like crazy, and I don't. Did they not say?
No.
What do they
that's
say?
the one.
The commission has yet to even announce.
Nobody knows.
Their team sent out a PR release where he admitted to some positive to something that they were, and he apologized and said, "I'll get back to work." You know,
Denver?
Yeah, we heard about it like 3 weeks ago. Colorado was telling.
Okay.
Colorado hasn't told anybody yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I tell you.
And speaking about medical conditions, news broke that you were going to have surgery for your many years.
That's why I'm in such a good mood.
Yes.
That's what happened.
How long are you going to be out of commission when that occurs?
They actually came up, they have another thing that they're going to try on me. You know, the one was to cut the nerve. They're not going to cut the nerve. They're going to take an incision in the back of my ear here, and they're going to insert a tube that they hope, I'll have a 70% chance of this not coming back with this tube, which I like better than 50.
And the tube stays in there?
The tube stays in, yeah. So,
and then it just drains out, I guess?
yes, yeah.
So are you out?
Give a shit what he does, I just want to do it. See if it works, man, because this thing's driving me nuts.
What is that scheduled for?
Within the next 2 weeks. So when I get back, I got to call the doctor. He wanted to know how this trip went. And this trip, I was perfect. Toronto and England, I was a mess. This trip, I was perfect. And but I want to get this thing done.
Is that an outpatient thing, or do you have to stay in the hospital?
Outpatient, in and out. Yeah.
Nice.
I'll be right back the next day.
So are you going to UFC Macau?
Hell yeah, I'm going to UFC Macau. Miss China. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Hey Dana,
I love that
Do you
Franklin
confirm that
Humphrey
the
fight.
winner of Hendricks versus Kaufman will be the next welterweight contender?
Will they be the next welterweight contender? Yeah.
The winner of...
Yeah.
Then what about Junior Dos Santos versus John Jones?
Junior Dos Santos what?
Against John Jones. I mean, he's bigger than most of the heavyweights.
Yeah, but John Jones hasn't even thought about moving up to heavyweight. He's never even talked about it or thought about it. Obviously, you look at a guy like him and say, probably when he gets up to 28, 29 years old, he'll have a tough time. But have you ever heard of John Jones having a tough time cutting weight? You know, it's like saying Anderson moving up to 85. I mean, up to 205. A lot of people thought that as he got older, he'd have trouble. He never has trouble making weight. You know, and even actually, to be honest with you, at the weigh-ins, he looked a little soft at 202. You know what I mean? His natural weight is down around 85. Yeah, he might blow up, but he has no problem making that weight, and he looks good at that weight. You know, a lot of these guys that cut weight, you see them the day of the weigh-ins, and they can barely step on the scale. They look like they're going to drop dead. Anderson never looked like that.
Is UFC willing to go to different countries other than China and England by now?
Are we willing to go to other countries?
Yes.
Dude, we're in 175 countries in 22 different languages in 1 billion homes
No,
worldwide.
I know. I mean, taking the event to different countries.
Yeah, we do. We go to the Middle East, Australia. Oh, what are the plans next year? Okay. Plans next year are India. We're focused on India next year. All the other places that we go to and India.
What about future Ultimate Fighters, Dana?
I thought he looked good.
He showed up to fight.
Yeah, he did. Exactly. He looked good tonight. He was in there trying to finish, and I like that.
You got tough Brazil tryouts tomorrow, open tryouts. Are you going to be there for it?
No, I have to fly to Orlando tonight. I go to fly to Orlando right now.
Can you tell us anything about the upcoming toughs? Any new territories you're going to be going into? You can tell us about it?
India, just same one, same old. Canada, new Canada. Yeah, that's it right now.
When you say India, you think you'll get a live event there next year, or are we just talking the outside?
Ultimate Fighter, then a live event.
The finale, or you mean like another?
Yeah, the finale and then another one.
Really?
The fight between Lyoto Machida and Mohammed will happen.
Yeah, I talked to Leo about that tonight. We'll see.
You have an upcoming fight with, well, you don't have it, but an upcoming fight with Alexander Gustafsson and Mauricio Shogun. Is that going to be a title eliminated bout?
Let me tell you what, the buzz for that fight in the United States is unbelievable. That thing went on sale. That's a free box fight. That thing went on sale and tickets flew. Before I left, the thing was almost sold out. It's probably sold out now. That fight's going to be huge. It's going to be awesome.
You don't even want to know how the buzz is in Sweden about that.
I bet, man. It's awesome. It's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a great show. And it's staying together so far, man. Please let this thing stay together.
So we're going to make that a title eliminated bout for Alexander?
It'll
He should win it?
Yeah, it'll put one of those guys in the position. We'll see what happens.
Then you're having the Ultimate Fighters matches is lightweights and welterweights. The Ultimate Fighter Brazil 2 is lightweights and welterweights.
It will end up. We're interviewing for those two, but it'll only be one.
Oh yeah.
It'll be one or the other. Yeah.
Any idea on the coaches?
No.
Coaches?
Dinner.
You know the press conference I talked about that.
Dinner. And can we wait Jose Aldo against Frank Edgar here in Brazil?
Aldo?
Yeah.
Did you say when's he going to fight again?
Yeah, it's here in Brazil.
It won't be here.
No?
It was going to be here, but obviously because it got canceled, he'll end up fighting in the States now.
So bring Junior Dos Santos to Brazil.
Is what?
Bring Junior Dos Santos to Brazil.
Bring Junior to
Yeah.
And
no,
Sao
yeah.
Paulo, then, please.
Huh?
We always have to travel up to Rio.
Yeah.
Let's watch in Sao
No,
Paulo.
we're having issues in Sao Paulo. We want to go to Sao Paulo. We're trying to. Get those government guys.
Just give a call to us.
What's that?
Fortaleza City. Which are the chances?
I need translation. We're going to go everywhere. We want to go everywhere. We're working on taking this thing everywhere. We're trying. Now that what?
The contract limitations for the fighters around the dangerous activities. The motorcycle.
Listen, I can put a ton of shit in contracts. I mean, it doesn't mean that a guy is going to jump on a jet ski or go motorcycle. Yeah, but it's just so stupid. I mean, listen, Jose Aldo, I love you, man. But you made a lot of money. Okay? You cheap bastard, buy a car. All right, man? You're just driving around on a motorcycle for Christ's sake.
He lives too fortunately.
Doesn't have a license. I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, come on. Get a fucking ride then. All right? Have a friend pick you up and drive you. He's going to risk all of his whole career. When I see the guys driving motorcycles in this country, I can't even fucking believe it. I can't even believe it. You think that a professional athlete would jump on a motorcycle and drive through that traffic? Guy hit our mirror today in the car. What's my name? Right? Guy hit us today on the bike, right? Motorcycle? Yeah, hit us. Motorcycle guy hit us today in the car. And that was Jose Aldo. Shitting me?
Dana, if GSP beats Condit, how do you plan doing this? He will face. He will first face Anderson Silva, or he will first face the winner of Johnny Hendricks and
I have
Martin
no
Campbell.
idea. We got to see how this thing plays out. We got to see what happens, and then we'll go from there. But I have no clue.
Dana, there are talks about the UFC Japan series, UFC Brazil series, about regional events. Is this true? Are these going to happen?
That what? What did he say?
The regional Brazilian
Brazilian
events, like that may not be marketed to the U.S. or whatever, like a smaller scale Brazilian fights.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and can we expect this for all the world in the future?
We're working on it, man. We got a lot of work to do. We're still figuring things out. You realize, you know, this isn't like any other sport. We're forging the way and creating all these new things. Take a lot of risks. You try things. Some things don't work. You try new things, and that's what we're doing now as we go into these different countries. And but yeah, that's one of the things we're talking about. How's it going to work? Who fucking knows? We're going to give it a shot.
An important logistical question about moving around to different territories, actually. Who else are you going to get in to support Bruce Buffer?
Who else? The Buffer? We're going to do the Buffer hologram. It's going to be like Tupac. Yeah, exactly.
Quem vai ser o announcer do Jumbo?
Porque vão colocar o holograma do Bruce Buffer.
The last
Acabou de falar.
coming back in March.
Lógico que ele
When did that fight over?
Eu acho que o Michael Buffer vai aparecer pra ele.
Yeah, April.
Vai ser
Yeah.
alguém. Não
March,
vai
April.
ser o Bruce Buffer porque vai ter outro.
The fight do Santos against Velasquez are signed and
Vai.
Velasquez and Dos Santos? Yeah, that fight's done.
Você vai ter que
We're not announcing it.
No.
Vai ter bastante pessoas achando.
Oh, yeah.
It's official now. It's official now.
Yeah, it's official.
We good? Yeah?
Thank you, man.
guys.